short video, we're going to have a look at the dashboard page of Google Analytics. So this is the first page you'll see when you log in. So the first snapshot, which everyone's always originally interested in, is how many users have been on the site over the last 30 days. So in this case, 899 users have been on the site, and you get the green, hopefully a green upwards trend showing it's 16% up compared to the previous 30 days. What you can do is as well, you can select what date range you want to check, whether it's day by day, week by week, month by month, or you can do a custom date range where you can do year by year or whatever specific to your business and trends that you've got going on. So this particular company has had 899 website users over the last 30 days, but they've had 1,100 sessions. So the difference between this is you might have one user coming back 3, 4, 5 times. And this is quite common, particularly with e-commerce stores. People tend to visit a site 2, 3 times before they actually purchase something or complete a lead generation form or actually get in touch. So you would want to see your sessions a fairly sort of good chunk higher than the amount of users that you've got. If you don't have this increase in sessions compared to users, you'll have lots of people coming to your site once and then not coming back again, or the majority of people coming to your site once and not coming back again. So you do want your sessions to have a nice increase compared to the amount of users that you have. The next one is the bounce rate that your site has. So bounce rate is a really important one to be aware of and something that you should potentially be working towards lowering. So a bounce rate is the percentage calculated when somebody lands on your website and then leaves on the first page that they have visited. So for example, if they land on your home page, don't find what they're looking for or don't like the look of it for whatever reason, they immediately click off and then go down to the next page on Google. That would give you a negative bounce rate. So if one person did that, you would have a bounce rate of 100%. If someone came on and then left immediately. If someone else came onto the site, landed on the home page, navigated around, read a few pages and then left, you'd have a bounce rate of 50%. So that's how the bounce rate is calculated. There could be reasons to have a higher bounce rate. So this particular site has hundreds of landing pages and pay-per-click ads running towards lead generation pages. So it's actually designed to quickly get contact details from potential customers. So if you do have a tactic for or a reason for having a higher bounce rate, then it makes sense to have a higher one. But for most companies, you would generally want to reduce your bounce rate. And in a later video, we're going to be showing bounce rates page by page. So how you can look at particular pages of your website, identify its bounce rate, and what you can do to actually lower that bounce rate. Just by lowering your bounce rate by sort of 5, 10, 15%, you can significantly increase the amount of leads and sales you get from your website with very little ease. So there's no extra ad spend because you're literally keeping the traffic that you've already worked hard to actually receive in the first place. You're keeping them on your site for longer. The longer they stay on your site, the more likely they are to purchase something or complete a contact form or pick up the phone. The next one is the session duration, so how long people actually stay on the site on average. So this particular site is 1 minute, 7 seconds. This one has a bit of a curveball, as I said. There's quick and easy lead generation forms to complete in, so that skews it a bit. But generally, the longer, the better for people to be staying on the site. Again, we'll be going this into more detail in the later video, whereby we'll be checking the session duration page by page throughout a site, so you'll get to see where your strongest and weakest pages are and what you can do to improve those weak performing pages. Next up is people who are active on the site right now. So currently there's nobody active on this particular website. If someone was to land on the site right now, this would move up to 1 and it would show you what page they were sitting on. I really like this feature, and it's important, I believe, if you're going to do anything with sort of social media influencers or bloggers or anyone who's going to be posting something and says, I'm going to get you a lot of traffic. So maybe you're running a radio ad or a TV ad or something like that, and say an advert's going out at 8 p.m. and you want to see if people do actually convert and visit your website as a result. You can log into Google Analytics at the time of a social media post or a radio advert and see if people do actually turn into clicks. It's a really worthwhile feature. Next, you'll get like a little tip from Google. This will be unique to every business, depending on what's going on with your analytics at the particular time. So we'll just skip past that one. Next up is how do you acquire your users? And again, we'll be going into much more detail on this in later videos, but it's just a nice snapshot. So over the last 7 days, it will show you how many came from organic search, which is this dark blue one. So organic search is people going on a search engine, typing in a search term, and then clicking on your website. Organic traffic, in my experience, tends to be the highest converting, and it can be the cheapest form of traffic you'll receive as well. So it's good to have a really high percentage of organic traffic. Shows that you're doing your SEO well. Next is your direct traffic. So that's people literally typing in your URL and landing on your website. Next up is referral. So this is where it's people coming from other websites. So if you've got a URL on another website or another blog, it's someone clicking the link and coming to your website from another. Next is social media. So if you're getting much in the way of traffic from social media, it'll be there. And last up is other. So that's just where Google can't identify where it's come from. Again, like the above one, you can set it to a much higher date range, and then it'll give you a great deal more data. If you hover on each one, it will show you exactly how much traffic has come through. Next up is where your users are coming from in the world. So this particular site is predominantly UK because it's a UK-based business that does face-to-face training. So people from around the world, wouldn't be able to get the service that they offer. It's really important because if say, for example, if this traffic looked really high, you might be really happy with it. If you don't interrogate stuff like this, those 899 visitors all might be coming from Finland, for example, and this company can't service customers from Finland. So the 899 would be useless traffic. So it's really important to not just look at these figures and think, oh yeah, my traffic's going up, that's great. It's to really interrogate it and to see if it's the right type of traffic that you want to be getting that can potentially turn into customers. We're obviously going to be doing a lot more on this in later videos, but this is just a snapshot to show you what percentage of your traffic is coming from where. This will be different. So if you're an e-commerce business, you'll probably have traffic from all around the world, but it'll depend on your business. Next up is when do your users visit? And I absolutely love this feature. So you might assume that most of your traffic arrives over a weekend. Unless you're logging into Google Analytics and taking a good look, you'll have absolutely no idea. The darker the color, so you've got the days of the week and then the times of the day up here. The darker the color, the more traffic that's coming to your site on these particular days. So this training company has a great deal of traffic on a Monday between 10 a.m. and 12 p.m. So this can influence what you should be doing. So you might increase your Google ad spend on a Monday between those hours to make sure you don't miss any further traffic. You could really push some social media posts. You could go live on Facebook. There's a good deal you should be pushing your marketing efforts at these times. And then you can go through and you can sort of check it day by day, and you can come up with a really good strategy to see what's working well for you. We can track this later with conversion settings. So we'll see if this Monday, when it's really busy, do leads come through at this time as well. But we'll go into that in more detail in a later video. Next up on the dashboard, when you first log in, is what pages your users are visiting. So as you can see here, the most popular pages over the last 7 days are these ones. When it's just a slash, that means it's the home page. And then you've got all the other pages. You can go off into more detail, select different time periods, and then you can do a full pages report, which we'll do in another video, where it'll literally show you your strongest and weakest pages. Again, this is a really important tool because you can identify the strengths of your most successful pages, and you can bring those strengths into your weaker pages. It's a really quick and simple tactic that can massively increase the amount of traffic you receive and how long people stay on your site for. If you can turn your weakest performing pages to have the same strengths as your strongest performing pages, you can win significantly more traffic. Next up is how your active users are trending over time. So nicely, this is all moving up. So it shows you a 30-day average, a 7-day average and a 1-day average to see how your active users are trending. And then the last one we're going to look at is what devices are your users using to visit your website. Again, I think this is a really important one. Obviously, you want your website optimized for mobile, desktop, and tablet anyway, but this really does just show the importance of it. So 63% for this particular website are coming from mobile. So if this company has a really poor website on mobile, or it wasn't mobile responsive, or it was slow on mobile, or the design didn't look great on mobile, they could be significantly impacted negatively. So it's really important to take a look at each of these and make sure wherever you've got your strongest traffic coming from, that you make sure that you're looking good on that platform. And as well, it can also influence your Google pay-per-click strategy as well. So if the majority of your traffic comes from mobile and the majority of your conversions come from mobile, you can put more focus and emphasis on your Google pay-per-click at mobile rather than desktop, or vice versa, depending on your site. So that's the introduction to Google Analytics Dashboard.